This video is of immune disorders, and here we are going to discuss the primary immunodeficiency syndromes. Okay, now why I've chosen this topic? Because this topic is a little bit difficult to remember and difficult to differentiate between the different primary immunodeficiency syndromes. So, let's classify them to make it simpler. Okay, so we can classify them basically into B cell disorders, T cell disorders, combined B and T cell disorders, phagocyte disorders, and the complement disorders. Okay, so whatever is there in our immune system, so accordingly we have divided them. So let's see for the B cell disorders. Okay, so in B cell, under B cell disorders, we have two disorders, that is the X-linked A gamma globulinemia and the common variable immunodeficiency. Okay, so let's see first what are the common features. Okay, what are these, how to identify B cell disorders. So whenever we get a problem or question, okay, so first we should identify whether it is a B cell disorder or a T cell disorder or combined. So then we can further delineate it into the which it is. Okay, so transplacentally the maternal IgG is transferred to the neonate. So that is why now this maternal immunoglobulin wanes after 3 to 6 months. That is why the onset of all B cell disorders is after 4 to 6 months. So if the onset is occurring before 4 to 6 months, then it is not a isolated B cell disorder. So this is for sure. So you can, so B cell, if it's an isolated B cell disorder, the onset has to be after 4 to 6 months. Okay, so this is the first point. Okay, now the second thing is that now in this B isolated B cell disorder, so infant, okay, so which infection, which cell we need for which infection, this basic knowledge we need to have to identify that if this particular infection is occurring and others are not occurring, that means it is the isolated B cell disorder. Okay, so usually viral infections, most of the bacterial infections, fungal infections, opportunistic infections like candida, pneumocystis, these infections usually require T cell immunity, that is a cellular immunity. Okay, so that is why if it's an isolated B cell disorder, these infections would not occur. Okay, so which infection, so we need IgG for opsonization of the encapsulated bacteria. So that is why in isolated B cell disorder, where we have IgG deficiency, we'll get infection by encapsulated bacteria. Which are these encapsulated bacteria? So they are strep pneumonia, H influenza B. Okay, so we will not get infection by viral, by other bacterial, fungal, opportunistic infections. These will not occur because the patient has an adequate cellular immunity. Okay, now the next step. So usually we see, so these strep pneumonia and H influenza, these are usually causing the recurrent sinopulmonary infections. That is why we have recurrent sinopulmonary infections. Okay, now particularly in X-linked A gamma globulinemia, we have a recurrent enterovirus infection. Okay, so these are some of the features by which we can differentiate whether it is an isolate. So which are the features? Okay, so first is that onset will always be after 4 to 6 months. If it's occurring before 4 to 6 months, then it is not an isolated B cell disorder. Okay, second thing is that only if the patient is only getting recurrent infections by encapsulated bacteria, that is and not getting any other opportunistic infection or viral, fungal, bacterial, then it is again an isolated B cell disorder because IgG is required for opsonization, and that is deficient. Okay, and specifically in X-linked A gamma globulinemia, we have enterovirus infections. Okay, recurrent sinopulmonary infections. Yeah. Okay, so now let's know more in detail about how to differentiate between X-linked A gamma globulinemia and the common variable immunodeficiency. Okay, now this X-linked A gamma globulinemia is also known as Bruton A gamma globulinemia. So what is the why? Because there's a defect in the Bruton tyrosine kinase. Okay, so because of this defect, what happens is the pre-B cells are not able to mature and exit the bone marrow. So as a result, there's defect in maturation. So low levels of plasma cells and decreased antibody production. Okay, now there is in how to diagnose this. Okay, so because the pre-B cells are not maturing only and they are not exiting the bone marrow itself, that is why there's a marked decrease CD19 B cells. So this you will see on the flow cytometry. And if you do the genetic testing, you can confirm that. And for any confirmation of any diagnosis, genetic testing is essential. Okay, so underdeveloped or absent lymphoid tissue. Okay, so usually in children less than 2 years of age, anyways the lymphoid tissues are not prominent. So if the child is more than 2 years of age, then the absence of lymphoid tissue will again give you a diagnosis of Bruton's agammaglobulinemia. Okay, now in such patients, live vaccines are definitely contraindicated. Other vaccines are not contraindicated, but they will not generate an effective antibody response. Okay, so what is our treatment? Our treatment is a lifelong immunoglobulin therapy. Okay, so now we come to the common variable immunodeficiency. Now the main differentiating feature is that the age at which it presents. So usually it presents around puberty or a young adult, that is at age 20 to 40. So you may have a patient who is around the age of puberty, like 17, 18 years, or a young in young adult, that is 20 to 40 age, who like 35-year-old male. Okay, so he is coming to you with chronic infections like chronic GI illnesses like chronic diarrhea, IBD like illness, chronic infections with salmonella, giardia, campylobacter. Okay, now in such patient, along with, because there is so much chronic infections in lungs and GI tract, again pulmonary and GI tract, so this chronic infections lead to chronic lung disease. Okay, so chronic lung disease is mainly because of two reasons. One is that there is an immune factor involved, that's immune mediated interstitial lung disease, which causes pulmonary fibrosis and scarring, and this leads to a restrictive lung disease. And the second thing is due to frequent infections and inflammation, there is what we know as bronchiectasis, which will cause the obstructive lung disease. Okay, so we have a combination of restrictive and obstructive lung disease in such patients. Another thing is that there can be inflammatory bowel disease like illness. Also, other manifestations are autoimmune diseases. The patient may have rheumatoid arthritis or autoimmune thyroid disease and an atopic disease. Okay. Now here, how do we diagnose? So simple, we do a quantitative immunoglobulin panel. That is a low IgG, low IgM, low IgA. Amongst that, low IgG, IgG is lower than IgA and IgM. Leukocyte count is normal, and antibody response to vaccines is low. So these are the common features which we see in the B cell uh, disorders. Okay. So the main difference between the Bruton A gamma globulinemia and the common variable is the age of presentation. And usually this common variable is associated with a chronic lung disease, some autoimmune illnesses like rheumatoid arthritis, IBD, thyroid, autoimmune thyroid, atopic picture is there. And so there is a chronic GI illness with Salmonella, Giardia, Campylobacter. Okay. Now both the patients, they will not show response to vaccines. They will have low immunoglobulins. That is common. Okay. And in Bruton A gamma globulinema, there is a problem with the maturation of B cell, and they don't exit the bone marrow. That is why the CD19 B cells are very low. So that is the main feature that we can see on the flow cytometry. And then we do a genetic testing. So a defect in the Bruton tyrosine kinase will confirm the diagnosis. Okay. Now we come to the T cell disorders. Okay. And the combined B and T cell disorders, because they are having common features. That is why we have taken them together. So these as we have seen that till 3 to 6 months we have maternal immunoglobulins which are protecting the infant. So when there is a T cell disorder or a combined T cell and B cell disorder, it will present before 4 to 6 months. Okay, yeah. Now also we know that we need cellular immunity for viral, bacterial, and fungal infections, and the opportunistic infections like Candida and pneumocystis. So the patient will show these infections. Okay, now because the patient is getting infected at such an early age with so many infections, so he will naturally failure to thrive. Okay, so here now the main difference is that usually in B cell disorders you might have, like in X-linked A gamma globulin, you have a decreased CD19 CD19 cell, but in the combined disorders or the T cell disorder, there will be a decreased leukocyte count. Here, there in B cell disorders, you won't have a decreased leukocyte count, but in the combined disorders or the T cell disorder, you will have a decreased leukocyte count, decreased immunoglobulins in the combined one, and decreased response to vaccine. Okay, now what are the subtypes that we are having here? Okay, so isolated T cell disorder is your DiGeorge syndrome. A combined ones are the severe combined immunodeficiency, Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, and the ataxia telangiectasia. Okay, so we can see this in short. Okay, let's come to combined immunodeficiencies. So these combined ones are important. So we'll see the severe combined immunodeficiency. So as the name suggests, the infections are very severe. There is chronic diarrhea in such a patient, and the recurrent severe infections are there. So as a result of that, there is failure to thrive. Okay, now the main feature is there is lymphopenia. That is a okay. So this is because it is combined. There will be absence of both CD19 for the B cells and the CD3, that is the T cells. So as a result, there is absence of lymphoid tissue. So now here, this disease is not happening because of one defect, but it can be one of the several gene defects. Okay, so now primarily there is a failure of T cell development. Now there is a loss of helper T cell function, which also causes B cell dysfunction, because as we know that humoral, for the development of humoral immunity we need cellular immunity. So that is why loss of helper T function also causes B cell dysfunction, and that is why it's a combined immunodeficiency. Okay, now because it is so severe, that is why routine newborn screening is done. If there's absence of T cell receptor excision circles, that is a circular DNA excreted by the developing T cells in the thymus in the dried blood, then we know that is a severe combined immunodeficiency, because it is so severe and it is fatal in early childhood unless transplantation is performed. That is why routine newborn screening is essential, and it is included in the routine newborn screening. Okay, because it is fatal in early childhood. So what is the solution? That is transplantation. Okay, so stem cell transplantation is the only definitive treatment. Okay. Now the next one is the ataxia telangiectasia. Okay. Usually here you will have the characteristic features of ataxia telangiectasia. Ataxia stands for cerebellar ataxia. Telangiectasia means it is oculocutaneous telangiectasias, and you have recurrent sinopulmonary infections as a result of deficiency in cellular and humoral immunity. So it is genetic, it is autosomal recessive. There's a, as we know, it is a defective DNA repair mechanism, and the lymphoid tissues are very small or non-palpable. These are the main features. So usually in the question, the patient will show this oculocutaneous telangiectasia, recurrent sinopulmonary infections, and the cerebellar ataxia, and he will have some history of autosomal recessive, and this is how you diagnose it. It's very simple. This one is simple. Okay. The other ones are the other ones are very simple. That is the DiGeorge syndrome. So here we know that there is thymic hypoplasia, which causes T cell deficiency. This is an isolated T cell disorder. So obviously, whatever infections you need cellular immunity. That is a viral, fungal, bacterial. Okay, so they will be invasive and rather than the non-inflammatory absence. Okay, and then lymphopenia is typical because you don't have the T cells, so you have lymphopenia. Okay, next one is Viscott-Aldrich syndrome. Now, this is slightly different. There is a cytoskeletal defect in leukocytes and platelets. There are recurrent infections. There is atopic dermatitis. There is microthrombocytopenia. There is bruising. So, from this bruising and the low platelet count, we can differentiate it. Okay, that is again simpler. Now, the one more important differential is your transient hypogammaglobulinemia of infancy. Okay, now this is a benign condition. So there is a low IgG. Now, and the patient shows normal antibody response to vaccines. Now, normally what happens is, as we know that at birth, the IgG is maternally derived by placental transfer. Okay, and this normally there is a physiologic nadir which occurs in the IgG levels, which occurs at the 3 to 6 months. Then after this, okay, when the maternal antibodies are waning, and simultaneously the infant is starting to produce their own IgG, and then the levels rise again. So this physiologic nadir is normally occurring at 3 to 6 months between the waning of the maternal antibodies and the infant starting to produce its own. But in this transient hypogammaglobulinemia of infancy, this IgG synthesis is delayed. So the physiologic nadir is prolonged beyond the age of 6 months. So when do we call it as transient hypogammaglobulinemia of infancy? When the IgG synthesis is delayed beyond 6 months of age. Okay, 6 months of age. So, patient might be asymptomatic or might develop recurrent infections like acute otitis media, respiratory infections, and he can have atopic features like asthma, eczema, food allergies, but the leukocyte count is normal because this is not a problem of T cell, B cell, but it is just IgG production is delayed, so the leukocyte count is normal. Okay, so you might have an asymptomatic infant or say infant who is developing recurrent otitis media, respiratory infections, having asthma, eczema, or food allergies. But the response to vaccines is normal. This is where we differentiate it from the isolated B cell disorders like Bruton A gamma globulin. Okay, uh, so in this common variable immunodeficiency, anyways, the age is higher. It is puberty and young adults. So usually it is Bruton A gamma globulin with which you have to differentiate. So here there is no response to vaccination, whereas in this transient hypogammaglobulinemia you will have a normal response to vaccination. That is how you differentiate. Okay. Now some of the other ones we can see, that is the hyper IgM syndrome and hyper IgE syndrome. So in hyper IgM syndrome, what happens is there is increased IgM and decreased IgA and IgG. It is X-linked recessive. There is a defect in the CD40 ligand. Okay. So normally what happens? So this is a problem with the immunoglobulin class switching. So normally what happens on T cell we have a CD40 ligand, and on B cell we have a CD40. So this CD40 is binding with the CD40 ligand, and when and then it starts the immunoglobulin class switching. And so by default the immunoglobulin is always IgM. So in class switching what happens, the IgM gets converted to whichever class you need, that is IgG, IgA, or IgE, or IgM itself. Okay, but when there is a deficiency of the CD40 ligand, so it will not allow this immunoglobulin class switching. So that is why these are not produced, and it remains as IgM itself. That is why the IgM is raised. Okay, now which type of infections this patient will get. So we have a deficiency of IgG, so we'll get infection with encapsulated organisms. Okay, we have a deficiency of IgA, so we'll get recurrent sinopulmonary infections like acute otitis media, pneumonia, sinusitis. Okay, also because the T cell interaction, because of this deficiency of CD40 ligand, there is an impaired T cell interaction with the antigen presenting cell also. That is why we get opportunistic infections like pneumocystis jirovecii also. This is the characteristic differentiating feature by which you can differentiate it from the Bruton A gamma globulin. That is, here we will have infection with pneumocystis jirovecii also. Okay, and growth impairment is there as a result of this. The solution is again the IV immunoglobulin antibiotic prophylaxis. Now, as a result, there will be lymphocytosis because there is no problem with the lymphocyte production, but there is a defect in the or deficiency in the CD40 ligand. So lymphocytosis, because there is a deficiency in the CD40 ligand, there will be a neutropenia. Okay. The next one is the hyper IgE syndrome. Okay, now this is autosomal dominant. So there is a defect in the T helper 17. Okay, so in hyper IgM syndrome, there is a deficiency of CD40 ligand, which is on the T cell. Again, here also there is a problem with the T cell, that is the T helper 17. Now, what is the significance of this T helper 17? So it is actually promoting the neutrophil proliferation and chemotaxis to the site of infection. So neutrophil proliferation and chemotaxis. So there is, again, because neutrophils are in problem, that is why recurrent infections, sinopulmonary infections. Okay, neutrophils are not reaching to the site of infection, that is why there is cold abscess, that is lack of inflammation, no erythema tenderness. So infection, you will, the maternal IgG is given to the infant. Okay,